It's November 3rd, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today and the Treasury Titans. It's Monday, and I will say, I opened my eyes this morning and I said, wow, I just had a little dream that Bitcoin dropped to 109. I really doubt that happened. And then I flipped my phone open and it was down to 107. It was almost in the 106s. And I was like, you just can't make this stuff up. We are truly in the valley of despair. Listen, I'm in it. You're in it. Everybody who has been holding Bitcoin and MSTR has been in it for some time now. And guess what? That is the price we pay for long-term wealth. That's truly my belief. That is not financial advice. Nothing in this video is financial advice. But if you want my opinion, that is my true and honest opinion, that there are 10 days a year that we get rewarded. And so to think that every other day or every one day a week or even a couple days a month is going to be one of those days, unlikely. We're talking about maybe one day a month we can get really excited about. And usually there's a couple days in a row. So we just need to realize that 10 days a month, 10 days a year, Bitcoin makes its move. And we're either going to be in for that or we're going to completely miss that. And otherwise, everything around us is just noise. Let's just have fun seeing what's going on in the world, seeing the progress that Bitcoin's making, that crypto in general is making all over the place, all over the world. It's just incredible to see. And just because price action hasn't caught up with it yet, to me, is not reason for panic, because Michael Saylor wants us to know that orange is the color of November. Now, we're going to get another buy. It's going to very likely be another very small buy, because Michael Saylor was very clear in his earnings report that he does not buy into weakness. Michael Saylor and strategy never buy into weakness. He said, whenever the price is going down, that's never us. He's very clear. Whenever the price is going down, that's never us. So all those idiots and all those bots and all those whiners that are out there that are like, oh, Michael Saylor and strategy, they're dumping the stock right now. That's never true. It's never true. Those are Tina bots that are just out there. They don't get it. They never will. And they're just out there spouting out the mouth. Again, Michael Saylor, Fong Li, the strategy team, you either believe in them, you either trust them, you either believe in the course that they're taking, or you don't. If it's the prior, you invest in the company. If it's the latter, you don't invest in the company. It's really that simple. Now, we're very likely going to get a small buy. We might even get some stretch this week because we were over $99, but I actually think it's going to be probably the following week that we get some stretch, maybe a little bit of stretch in today's purchase. But again, I think it's mostly going to be a very small preferred stock Bitcoin purchase. And then the following week, this coming week here, if stretch remains above 99 and maybe even breaks above 100, which it could, then we'll see some stretch purchase for the first time ever, which will be the unlock that is the unlock of all unlocks. So listen, Michael Saylor strategy, they keep stacking. Our Bitcoin value keeps increasing. Our Bitcoin value per share keeps increasing. That's just the exciting world that we live in right now, that we can just sit back and the value of our Bitcoin stack gets higher or gets bigger. Even the quantity of our Bitcoin stack is bigger, even if we're doing nothing. And that's what I love about strategy. They're just increasing our Bitcoin percentage. They're increasing the amount of Bitcoin per share that we as shareholders have. Let's keep on moving because, it's not pretty out there. Welcome to Moonvember. I mean, it just dumped down to 107. Absolute bloodbath on Sunday night, which is usually a pump night. We were at 111 just it seemed like not too long ago. Now we're down to like maybe even scraping into 106. But again, to be honest, like these aren't huge percentage moves. I mean, they're big numbers, but they're not huge percentage moves. I mean, this like bloodbath is down 3%. I mean, 3%. That's not great. Nobody wants to be down 3%. I don't want to be down 3%, but it's not 30%. It's not 40%. So let's just stay the course and keep driving forward. Ash Crypto says long-term holders sold 300,000 Bitcoin worth 33 billion in October. This is the most aggressive selling from long-term holders since December of 2024. Listen, every time there is this, this new high, we got up to 126. you're always going to have individuals coming out of the woodworks that were buying way back in the day, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and they are rightfully so making some lifestyle choices. I mean, they maybe want to buy a yacht, they maybe want to buy a mansion, they maybe want to take a trip, they maybe want to pay off their mortgage. I don't know what they want to do, but it's okay for them to take some lifestyle chips off the table. And what are they doing? They are dispersing the Bitcoin amongst longer term holders in a much more diverse and spread out base. There's an incredible article by Jordy Visser. I highly recommend it. It's on his Substack. So if you go to Jordy Visser, Viss, I think it's EUR, but Jordy Visser, his Substack, he wrote an unbelievable long form article all about Bitcoin's quote unquote IPO. You're not going to understand it just from that one sentence, but it's very fascinating to read it. And to me, I walked away being like, I am more confident than ever. I am more excited than ever about what is happening in this space. So I definitely recommend giving that a read. Hermes says MSTR is down for the past 3.5 months and essentially unchanged since 11/7/2024, which is, by the way, I was buying back then. I was dollar cost averaging at this point. Luckily, I was dollar cost averaging a lot before this as well. But I was definitely buying here. I was definitely buying above the price point that we're at currently right now. And I've been buying below this price point. I've been dollar cost averaging this whole time. He writes, times like this should be expected. So should the opposite of times like this soon. So again, here we are. I actually remember being out on a lake in Maine with my sister on July 16th, and she being like, "Oh, you still doing that MSTR thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's $455 a share right now." And she's like, "Oh, wow. Like, that's really cool. That's really exciting." I'm like, "Yep. And it's going higher. And look what it's done since then." So Marcy, if you're listening, I hope you didn't take that as buy the stock advice at that point. But long term, we're all going to be great. But I can just so clearly remember that day on the lake in Maine, July 16th, just being really content and happy with where MSTR was and where it felt like it was going. But again, the market will do what the market will do. And it's time in the markets, not timing the markets. We're not timers. Most of us listening, myself included, are not traders. That's not who we are. We find unbelievable companies like this. We find unbelievable opportunities like this, and we buy and we hold. And guess what? In 10 years, we're going to be smiling from ear to ear. That's my opinion. Chris says, after adopting Bitcoin in August of 2020, it's been incredible to watch the evolution of Saylor and Strategy and how with each passing quarter, they've moved closer to fully realizing their true identity and the destiny of what was waiting them all along, the world's largest distributor of digital credits. And then Choi says, it seems inevitable. My response to that is, it's inevitable, because it is inevitable. So great post by Chris. It's so true. This is exactly how I feel. It's just the reality. And then if you're in need of some hopium, and I think we're all in need of a little hopium, by the way, let's be honest, Strategy has generated a positive return in 4 out of 5 months in November since 2020 and has averaged a positive 31%. I could use a little positive 31%. So let's go for some positive 31%. You can see up 100% in 2020, up 0.89%, down 26%, up 17, up 58. The average is again up 31. We'll see what this brings, but a lot of green here for the most part. A lot of green. We'll see. December, not so much, but that could flip around because you can see what happened in October, the first red month ever for Strategy. So maybe we're going to push it back a little bit here. Anyways, we've got a couple great videos from Michael Saylor, so kick back, enjoy, and talk to you tomorrow. Fire Nation, when you want more for your business, more privacy, more guidance, more success, it all starts with Northwest Registered Agents. These legends have been helping entrepreneurs launch and grow their businesses for nearly 30 years. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in the U.S. with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your state's laws and actually care about helping you win. With Northwest, you can build your complete business identity, everything from what your customers see to what they don't, operating agreements, meeting minutes, compliance paperwork, and more. You'll get thousands of free resources, lawyer drafted forms, and step-by-step guides, all in one place, and you don't even need to create an account to access them. Best part, privacy is automatic. Northwest never sells your data and handles everything in-house. Don't wait, protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free. Okay, check this out. Senator Cynthia Lummis recently announced that funding for a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve can start anytime. This is a massive step forward for a strategic crypto stockpile, and no surprise, was soon followed by a new all-time high for Bitcoin. If you're looking to buy more Bitcoin, BitIRA can help. In fact, BitIRA will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into Bitcoin. This also allows you to buy Bitcoin using pre-tax funds, and then continue to invest in it over time as you do any other retirement accounts. And if you want, you can even add XRP, Ethereum, or other cryptos. BitIRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secured storage, multi-encryption, and registered with the US government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open up your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Think about this. In March, President Trump signed an executive order for the Treasury to manage 200,000 Bitcoin as the foundation for a reserve. That's just the foundation. Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin.
It's a $90 billion asset class in March of 2000 when I was first looking at it. And then by August, it was about $180 billion asset class. And right now, 4 years later, it's $1.8 trillion asset class. And I think it's going to 18 trillion, then 180 trillion, then it's going to go beyond that. So I think it's a very simple thing. I think Bitcoin is going to grow from 0.1% of the money in the world to 7% of the money in the world over the next 21 years. And of course, you should just go long and keep buying it.
0.1% to, you said 7%?
Yeah, it'll go from like 1.8 trillion to $240 trillion. And it'll go up 29% a year, ARR. That is my base case.
And I've heard you say that in 21 years, it's going to be at $13 million.
That takes you to 13 million a coin.
13 million a coin.
13 million a coin.
At 29%.
Every Bitcoin you don't buy is going to cost you $13 million, my friend.
Every Bitcoin. So let me ask this question.
Your Ford Bitcoin Ferrari is going to be a motor on the network, right? Torquing the network, right? Like, yeah. And so as they get bigger, they're going to get exponentially more powerful. MetaPlanet is getting exponentially more powerful. Saylor is getting exponentially more powerful. We are getting more powerful, right? So I think that they're a part of the dynamic that's going to drive the market. But you know, my thought is it should be growing 30 to 60% a year for the next decade, and you know, my long-term forecast is 30%, 29% ARR over about 21 years. So I haven't changed my view on that. And I think that everyone that gets involved, you are a driver, right? Everybody in this room is a driver. Every company that adopts Bitcoin is a driver. Every time a politician advocates for it, they're driving it forward. But you know what? Every single time a politician blocks something or reacts negatively to, they're driving it forward, right? You can't pay for the marketing we just got in Arizona, right? That's going to catalyze millions and millions of people to say, well, what is this thing? Was that the right decision, right? Should we reevaluate this? So I think that everything is good for Bitcoin.
So Strategy is the company whose phone is always going to be ringing as new companies start to enter into this market. What sense are you getting that this is really accelerating at a much faster pace than people are thinking?
I think a year ago, there was us, and then Saylor and MetaPlanet. which are companies with an operating strategy that adopted a Bitcoin strategy. And really, that was just a year ago, right? Came out and said that they were going to adopt a Bitcoin treasury company strategy. And now we're up to 70 companies. So if you extrapolate that out, that means that next year, right, we could be at 700 companies, right? And I think, look, success breeds interest. And we're at a time when there is just a lot of uncertainty in the economic environment, which causes companies to ask themselves, how do we create value for our shareholders? And if they go out and they just say, let's look at the top 15 companies in the world last year, you know, number one is Metaplanet. Saylor follows somewhere in there, and I think we were number 14, right? Like, you would think that that would cause people to be interested. I think the other piece is, you know, a lot of folks talk about the Overton window and what's happening with the US government and the embracement of a strategic Bitcoin reserve, digital asset framework, stablecoin bills. We have an administration who's very supportive of Bitcoin. It makes everybody wake up and say, hey, what is this Bitcoin thing? Right? So I think we're early, but I think the acceleration is real. And I think, you know, from last year to this year, right? We held this conference last year in Las Vegas. I think there are about 50 to 100 attendees. This year we're at 300 attendees. And I think in this room, there's probably 400 interested folks, right? Next year, maybe we'll have 1,000. Right, so I think the acceleration is absolutely real. It's exciting.
What's the second best? There is no second best.